Hey Tim, look at this.
Needs work.
Hey Tim, how about this?
Still needs work.
Darn it. How about this?
Nice, high five.
Hi there everybody, how's it going?
My name's Tim.
My name's Michael.
And you're watching the TMI show.
That's the Tim and Michael Information Show. And today we are talking about stepping up, getting involved, being heard, being active, being an enrolled member of the artistic community.
Well, aren't you Mr. Community Outreach?
Well, I don't know. We're just trying. So specifically, again, a lot of big words and rambling. We're talking about a little bit of classes and a little bit of professional, about being heard.
Yes.
And also having some sort of presence and energy. Phil was talking to us in class and he asked us, do you guys in storyboarding have to get up and do a presentation? And
boy, don't I wish that we did, though.
oh, we don't?
We don't.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know. But he said we should. He said we absolutely should, because here's the thing. Phil told us one of the most important things about your storyboarding is being able to pitch, is being able to sell your idea, sell your story. We'll come back to that in a second. And I wanted to springboard off of in class. You've experienced this class. You've been in class with me.
Oh, we've done, loads of class together.
Yeah, and the reason that I started teaming up with Tim is because I noticed that he was the only person that didn't make me feel awkward for talking in class. And what I mean by that is sometimes there's just so much to say about art or critiques and this and this and that, and you gotta speak up. Sometimes you're in a class and there's that dead silence, dead space, and then I remember hearing Tim, I'm like, very good.
Thank you.
I remember hearing Tim and thinking like, gosh, like this guy has so much to say about every single piece of work that's up here. Because you have a passion about it, you have a presence, and all of a sudden we started sitting together, and then we started working on things together, and then
Well, the great thing was, too, when we were doing those critiques, we not only bounced off each other conversationally, we started moving towards the front of the room and getting louder and louder and louder and more involved, and it just reciprocated in an exponential way.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden
awesome.
everybody else started getting involved too. But sometimes you don't have two people like me or Tim who kind of become the igniters. Because I know that for me a long time, I mean, I grew up a pretty shy person whenever I'm in a new place. And maybe I still get a little bit that way when I'm in a new place and I don't know anyone.
Story of my life.
Yeah, because it's just, you're part of the out crowd before you become part of the in crowd. So what we want you to do is be able to step up. Is to be able to say things and not be afraid. It's going to feel awkward. I know there's been times where I'm like, am I the only one who's going to laugh in this show? Am I the only one who's going to say anything? But say it, you know what? Because all of a sudden you're going to be the one who's remembered.
You know what, the great thing about art class too is this isn't history, this isn't math, this isn't chemistry, this isn't one of those classes where there's silence because the teacher has asked a question and nobody knows the answer. You always have something to say if there's art up on the board, art up in the front of the class, because you either like it or you don't. And you know what, there may be merit to the work, or maybe lack of merit, and that is debatable, of course, but if you like a piece for something, you can always say that. Figure out what you like about that piece, why you like the color, or why you like the composition, or why that character just speaks to you.
Yeah.
And there you go.
You can't be wrong.
There.
You cannot be wrong. And in the rare occasions that there is a direct question, like I remember Brian asked us on day one when you couldn't make it to class, who knows about aspect ratio? And then I just happened to know, so then I said something. But on the occasion that I'm wrong, or that any of us are wrong, I remember having a class with another instructor, and it was one of the best classes, stage management. And it was a very silent class, maybe because it was early in the morning. It wasn't that early. But I mean, some people just didn't say. And then I remember I started having an answer for everything. Just because all of a sudden when I started having an answer, even if I was wrong, it got Steve really excited, And it was like, no, it's not this. And then all of a sudden class starts moving a lot more, You're going to feel that weird pit of like, oh, I just said something. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just say it.
Right.
Moving back to when you're giving your presentations, you need to be able to sell your pitches, you need to be passionate about what you're selling, and you need to be clean and concise about it. Tim.
Yes, sir.
You have told me about a lot of encounters you have had through Disney and through your different groups of coming and actually meeting, what do we call them, famous people, professionals, etc.?
Well, and not quite famous because they're not people that everybody knows, but they're legends within their own industries. So kind of industry heroes of Disneyland and the theme park world.
Right.
And even if not so much, legends, I've met a lot of really high up people who do some very impressive things within Disneyland, Universal Studios, and theme parks abroad.
So tell me, do you think that they're the kind of person that was quiet in a class or that got up and did a presentation and didn't know what they were saying?
You know what? I don't think so. I mean, if you're going to be a creative director or in some sort of position of leadership, which a lot of these people are, you absolutely have got to know why you're making your decisions. And, speaking of assertiveness and confidence, I just lost all of mine.
But we also do this in one take, so bear with us.
I know. Well, that's one for the blooper reel. That's a freebie. But if you're going to be in that kind of position, you have to have an incredible assertiveness and know why you're doing something.
Yeah, they're not quiet people, are they?
Oh yeah, no. Well, sometimes they are.
Well,
sometimes they're not. They're meek.
Yeah.
But we assume, being meek is the same thing as being quiet and weak and unassuming, which is not. Sometimes meek is just being very reserved. But that doesn't mean you can't still be very confident in what you have to say.
I noticed who I've met. I met a couple of folks, who, again, legends in their own right. They have a presence, even if they're meek.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely have a presence and a clear vision about what it is that they do. Clearest visions in the world. And so when you're doing your thing, and again, maybe you're not going to be a director. Maybe you're not going to be, somebody who maybe you just, you don't want to direct a project, but you want to be really good at whatever thing that you do for the director and for the group, but you still have to be able to communicate your ideas. Also, a good little tool that we can give you guys is to go and figure out an elevator pitch. So the elevator pitch goes to, as the tale goes, if you were to walk inside an elevator and you had literally from this floor to that floor to talk to somebody and sell them your idea, you've got to go.
Right.
So the elevator pitch has got to be quick and concise, and it's got to be clear, and also, do we feel your passion? Mm-hmm. Again, all of this talk about being passionate and stepping up and saying things just so you can be successful in the art world, and no matter whatever it is you do, even if it's not the art world, music, anything, I think it's good to know that, you've got to be able to communicate.
Anytime you're doing anything, especially in art, but you can easily translate this to so many other industries, you have to be excited for what you're doing. I think as artists, especially when we're starting out, we want to just put our work up there and kind of sit back while people gather around it and, oh, it's so great, oh, it's wonderful. And, we kind of farm in the responses and see what people have to say, but there's nothing wrong with loving on your work and being really excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
And people may not always match your enthusiasm, but that's okay. At the very least, you're going to get them to care about it because you care about it. And at that point, they're going to start being excited for the things that are right, and for the things that are wrong, they will care enough to point those out and help you fix them, hopefully.
So we dare you to step up and get involved and be passionate, be clear. So thanks for listening and joining.
Absolutely.
And we will. Okay? we're flubbing up a bit,
That's okay. Don't be afraid to be wrong. Be confidently wrong. And own that response.
And if you make one little mistake or flub up, it's okay. Just say sorry, and we're moving on next. So.
And cut. Just like that.
Bang. Thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Have a great week.
Hey guys, if you have any questions, you can always email us at tmi.art.productions@gmail.com.
And don't forget to... Michael, you gotta stop spilling coffee on the script.